Everyone who's ever debugged something knows what a breakpoint is. You set a breakpoint on a certain instruction, and when the execution reaches that instruction, the CPU stops. Seems simple, doesn't it? And to be fair, in a large number of cases, that's really all you need to know. But what I want to show you in this video is that there's more to breakpoints than meets the eye. It's often useful to understand the mechanisms behind setting a breakpoint, and also the different types of breakpoints and how they can be configured or when they would be useful. I also want to show you advanced uses of breakpoints in winIDEA, such as conditional breakpoints, triggering scripts with breakpoints, and so on. Let's start by talking about the difference between hardware and software breakpoints. Hardware breakpoints are used by default in winIDEA. As the name suggests, they rely on dedicated debug hardware in the MCU. The address of the breakpoint is written to a comparator which checks it against the program counter and stops the CPU when the values match. This provides the fastest and simplest debug experience, but the downside is that the number of breakpoints we can set is limited by the number of available comparators. Some devices only have 4 comparators, meaning we can only set 4 breakpoints at once. To work around this limitation, we can use the software breakpoint method. In this case, when we set a breakpoint at an instruction, that instruction is replaced by a special instruction that stops the CPU. Once the CPU stops, the instruction is replaced with the original instruction so that execution can continue later on. Using this method, an unlimited number of breakpoints can be set. But the swapping of instructions means a lot of memory writes, which can be slow, and if your code is running from Flash, it can also put the memory under unnecessary stress. So this method can be used if you are constantly running out of breakpoints, but you should be aware of its limitations. Let me show you how this looks in practice. I have an application running on an 𝗬𝗂𝗏 and I will try to set as many breakpoints as I can. Remember, winIDEA uses hardware breakpoints by default, so we only have a limited number of comparators available. And there it is. We managed to set 7 breakpoints before getting a message that we ran out of comparators. So if I now want to set more breakpoints, I can switch to software breakpoints by clicking on Hardware and selecting Use Software Breakpoints. Now I can set more breakpoints, but as you can see, the process is very slow. My application is running from Flash, so an entire sector needs to be rewritten each time I set a breakpoint. In general, I wouldn't really recommend using software breakpoints on a complex MCU like this one, especially if you're running a multi-core application. But maybe for a single-core application running on a Cortex-M, for example, they can be very useful. Let's switch back to using hardware breakpoints. Now I'll just quickly get rid of all of these breakpoints we set. The simplest way is by using the Breakpoints menu. Here you can enable or disable breakpoints, or you can just remove all of them. Now I want to show you how to configure data access breakpoints. As the name implies, these breakpoints are triggered when a data value is accessed in some way. They can trigger when a variable is written to, or when it is read, or both. Of course, this is not limited to a single variable. A whole range of memory can be configured to trigger a breakpoint, but for now, let's focus on a single variable. I have this iCounter variable here in the Watch window, and the simplest way to configure a data access breakpoint is to right-click on it and select Set Write Breakpoint. And sure enough, if I now run the application, it stops at a point where the iCounter variable was written to. This was really easy to configure, but you can only set a write breakpoint this way. If you want more configuration options, you have to go into the Hardware Breakpoints menu. You can access it by opening the Breakpoints menu and clicking on Hardware Breakpoints. The menu that opens is going to look different depending on the MCU you're using, and it's actually just a graphical representation of the comparator control registers inside the MCU. In our case, because we're using a fairly complex MCU, it all looks sort of complicated. but fortunately, we can use a wizard to make configuration easier. So let's click through the wizard to configure a read access breakpoint for the same variable. We want to configure a simple event, and we want to make it a data access event. Now I can search for our variable. There we go, and we want to cover the entire object since we won't be specifying a memory range. Finally, we want to set the access to read since we want the breakpoint to trigger on data reads. We can now click Finish, and we can see that this comparator is now configured to halt the CPU on data reads to the 𝗓𝗂𝗧𝗧 variable. Let's test if it works, so let's click OK and close this dialog and run the application. We can see that we are now stopped at a read access to the 𝗓𝗂𝗧𝗧 variable. Depending on your MCU, you can configure all sorts of advanced breakpoint settings in the Hardware Breakpoints menu, so check the capabilities of your MCU if you need to configure something really specific. What I want to do is dive deeper into the advanced options that the regular Breakpoints menu offers us, which is the same for all MCUs. The first interesting thing we see in this menu is this condition section here. Let's first clear our breakpoint so that we can start from scratch. And I'll quickly just set a breakpoint here. Now I can go into the Breakpoints menu and enable condition checking for this breakpoint. If we set a condition here, winIDEA will check this condition every time a breakpoint is hit. If the condition evaluates to false, winIDEA will immediately run the application again. But if the condition evaluates to true, the execution will remain stopped at the breakpoint. Remember, the application will stop at the breakpoint every time, but if this condition is false, it will run again immediately. The most basic condition that we can set is the pass count. This is pretty self-explanatory. It tells winIDEA how many times to pass over the breakpoint before actually stopping. The more interesting section is this field here. We can enter any C expression here which evaluates to true or false. So I can write something like 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏 modulo 5 equals 0. This condition will only be true if 𝗓𝗓𝗧 is a multiple of 5, which means that when the breakpoint is hit and 𝗓𝗓𝗧 is not a multiple of 5, the execution will continue, and when it is a multiple of 5, it will stop. Let's test it out. I will run the application, and every time it stops again, the value of the 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏 variable should be a multiple of 5. As you can see, no matter how many times I run the application, we never stop at a point where the 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏 variable is not a multiple of 5. While this already gives you a lot of options for controlling the behavior of your breakpoints, I want to show you one more feature that winIDEA has which really opens up the possibilities of what you can do with them. As you may already know, pretty much every action in winIDEA can be scripted using our iSystem.Connect API. So if you combine this scripting feature with the ability of breakpoints to trigger such scripts, you get a really powerful combination that can be used for all sorts of things. Let's quickly create a script that we can use to demonstrate this. As I already mentioned in our special function register video, we can use the watch window to quickly create initialization scripts for variables or registers, and so on. So let's change the value of our 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏 variable here. And then we can right-click on it and click on Create Initialization Script. I'm just going to keep the default name watchinit.py. We can check that it works by changing the value to something else. And then I can run the script from Tools, External Scripts, and select our watchinit.py script. As you can see, the value of the 𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗏 variable changed, so that means our script is working. Now let's go back to the Breakpoints menu. We have our breakpoint selected, and if we look down here, we can see that we have a section for configuring the action taken when the breakpoint is reached. We can enable script and browse for our watchinit.py script that we created. What this means now is that each time the application stops at this breakpoint, winIDEA will execute this script. Let's close the dialog and try it out. I will set another breakpoint just before this one, so that we'll be able to see the value of the iCounter variable before it's changed by the script. So if I run the application, we first hit the breakpoint I just set, and now if I run the application again, we hit the breakpoint that triggers the script, and the value of iCounter changes. I can run the application again, and every time it hits this breakpoint, the iCounter variable is reset to the same value. You can keep track of your breakpoints and the scripts that they trigger with the Breakpoints plugin. You can open it by clicking on View, Breakpoints. Let's resize this window. You can see that our breakpoints are listed here, and the action that happens when the breakpoint is hit is displayed in this column. Of course, these scripts are not just limited to changing values. We can open the script file and add something like debug.run. So when the script is executed, it will change the value and then immediately run the application again. Let's test it out. I can set another breakpoint just after this one, and let's run the application again. You can see that the application stopped at the breakpoint just briefly to change the value of the iCounter variable and then immediately continued. This is still a very basic example, but it shows how you can use scripts to control pretty much anything in winIDEA and have breakpoints trigger those scripts. In conclusion, we looked at hardware breakpoints, software breakpoints, and the difference between them. We also looked at triggering breakpoints on memory events. Then we looked at setting conditions for breakpoints, and at the end, showed the ability of breakpoints to trigger scripts. Thank you for your